Ton Nguyen. We're at UC Santa Cruz in the Chen Lab. We work with neurodevelopment, mainly neurodevelopment, looking at examining how the brain develops at early embryonic stages. A lot of cell lineage stuff, a lot of birth dating, things of that nature. Right now we have a few candidate genes that have a correlation, not necessarily a causation with autism. Both my parents are doctors, but we weren't rich. My dad was drafted straight out of medical school into the Vietnam War, so he was a Marine. My mom was a pediatrician in Vietnam. Came over here. Degree doesn't work here because it's an overseas degree. When I graduated, I realized that we graduated into one of the worst job markets around. So started looking for careers. One of the careers that was a potential was CLS, Clinical Laboratory Scientist. You can get it with an undergrad degree or a basic bachelor's, but it required a few classes. I started taking classes at Cal State Long Beach, hematology and bacterial pathogenesis, which they don't offer at the UCs. Don't know why, they're great classes. Professor there, Dr. Zhang, convinced me to go to grad school, convinced me to go for a master's, said that it's the most versatile degree out there for someone looking to pick themselves back up. Well, a typical day is usually depends because these projects span weeks, and usually you're focused on a specific task for a couple of days and you kind of shift to another specific task. So you kind of order things in shifts. The motivation for going into lab is just the sheer nerdiness of it. But it's also the process, and the process is very technical when you get down to it. At least in what we do, it's very hands-on. So with the instruments you use, you have to be quite precise and quite adept to a certain degree. When you're mounting sections onto a slide, you have to be very careful with the paintbrush and try not to tear the section apart. I mean, it might be just one tear, but when you're doing clonal analysis and you're looking at a couple of sections in a row, it could really mess up your data. Society benefits from what you learn. Whether you realize it or not, with time, knowledge accumulates, and eventually it's going to get to a melting point where someone will discover something groundbreaking. And it's built upon a pile of mountain research where your research is a tiny pebble. It might sound insignificant, but science has to be meticulous. Mm-hmm. You have to be very, and everything is built upon everything else. So the things you do now will matter eventually, not right away. This is a game of this is a marathon, not a sprint. Once you realize that, once you can accept that, and once you really do like just sitting around and learning something new every day, this might be for you.